Interest in the upcoming election hits a new low as Trump still maintains a lead over Biden. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video, and today it is time to talk about the 2024 presidential election because everyone, a brand new poll was just released by NBC News that shows that Donald Trump maintains his lead over Biden. And at the same time, this poll shows that interest in the upcoming election hits a new low, despite everyone agreeing that this upcoming election could very well be the most important in modern history. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Again, folks, all support is greatly appreciated, and yeah. Now, let us get into it. The share of voters who say they have high interest in the 2024 election has hit a nearly 20-year low at this point in the presidential race, according to the latest national NBC News poll, with majorities holding negative views of both President Biden and former President Donald Trump. Yeah, you heard that right. Despite this upcoming race, in everyone's opinion, not just mine, but virtually everyone agreeing that this could very well be the most important race in modern history, despite all of that, the interest in the race has actually hit a new low. Now, why is that the case? Honestly, I don't know. My best guess is the nominations were secured so early, everyone knows who's the nominee for the Republican Party, and same thing for the Democrat Party. The poll also shows Biden trimming Trump's previous lead to just 2 points in a head-to-head contest, an improvement within the margin of error compared to the previous survey, as the president bests Trump on the issues of abortion and united the country, while the former president is ahead on competency and dealing with inflation. But you notice the thing about this poll? Trump's vote share has not changed. The entire time they've been polling this for the past year, Trump has stayed at like 45, 46, 47%. The entire time. So Trump's lead is not because he fell 15 points or something. All that happened is, yes, he went down 1 point, but you could say that's statistical noise, whatever. He's still somewhere between 46, 47%, or even 45%. Biden, on the other hand, it's just fluctuating. Back in July of last year, he was at 49%. Then September of last year, 46%. November, 44%. January, 42%. Now he's slightly back up to 44%. Now, again, that could also be statistical noise. You know, you could say, well, that's just nothing. But either way, Trump has been super consistent, while Biden, he's been going up and down. And I do think that he's only going up now because there are some partisan Democrats that claimed back in January because of Palestine that, oh, I'm undecided and I'm not going to vote for anyone. And some of them might be coming home to Biden. But at the same time, it may not be enough. And it finds inflation and immigration topping the list of most important issues facing the country, as just 1/3 of voters give Biden credit for an improving economy. Oh, of course, yeah, Biden's having such a good economy right now. The reality is, the economy is less shit than before because it got so bad last year and the year prior that you couldn't get any worse. So this quote-unquote improvement that we're seeing in the economy and people saying it's not as bad is because it was so bad, realistically speaking, unless you had a full-blown recession, you were not going to get any worse than what was happening beforehand. But what also stands out in the survey is how the low voter interest in the independent candidacy of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. potentially scrambled what's been a stable presidential contest with more than 6 months until Election Day. While Trump holds a 2-point edge over Biden head-to-head, Biden leads Trump by 2 points in a 5-way ballot test, including Kennedy and other third-party candidates. And this is fascinating, because for the past couple of months, we have seen the opposite, where Trump does better when you include Cornel West, Jill Stein, and RFK. And yes, there's some states where the opposite is true, but either way, at least at the national level, we have been seeing Trump doing better with independents included. This is one of the first national polls in many months I could think of that shows the opposite. I don't think Biden has done much as a president, and if Trump gets elected, I just feel it's going to be the same thing as it was before Biden got elected. Said poll respondent Devin Fletcher, 37, of Wayne, Michigan, a Democrat, who said he's still voting for Biden. I just don't feel like I have a candidate that I'm excited for, Fletcher added. Another poll respondent from New Jersey, who declined to provide her name and voted for Biden in 2020, said she wouldn't be voting in November. Our candidates are horrible. I have no interest in voting for Biden. He did nothing. And I absolutely will not vote for Trump, this voter said. And this is going to be a problem for Biden. Because this low voter interest, you look at who's saying this, they're not interested in the election. These are Democrats. These are not, partisan Republicans. These are Democrats saying, screw this guy. Screw both of them. I'm just not going to vote. That's going to be a problem for Biden. If a bunch of these Democrats who are openly partisan are saying, never mind, we're not going to vote, he has a big problem. Democratic pollster Jeff Hort of Hart Research Associates, who conducted the survey with Republican pollster Bill McInturff of Public Opinion Strategies, said that Americans don't agree on much these days, but nothing unites a country more than voters' desire to tune this election out, which, again, you would think everyone would be paying attention, be very interested in what happens. Instead, it's the complete opposite. And compared to past surveys from NBC, look at that. Only 64% of registered voters said they were very interested in the election, down from 77% in 2020, which, again, I was always skeptical of getting the same turnout as 2020, but either way, it is down even from 2016. Hell, from 2012. The question dates back to the 2008 election cycle. The lowest level of high election interest in the poll during a presidential cycle was in March of 2012 at 59%, but it quickly ticked up in the next survey. And that's why I'm saying, maybe it's early, maybe it's because both parties, they got their nominees so fast, it's like, okay, why should we pay attention to the election now when we're still like 7 months away? I can see that argument because it happened even back in 2012. It did rebound a little bit. And I still think only 64%, that's lower than 2012. If you base turnout based off of this poll, that would mean turnout would be closer to 2012. Do you think that's going to happen? I highly doubt it. This election cycle, high interest has been both low and relatively flat for months, according to the poll. McInturff, the Republican pollster, says the high level of interest in the poll has always been a signal for the level of turnout for a presidential contest. It makes it very hard for us to predict turnout this far in advance of November, but every signal's turnout will be a lower percentage of eligible voters than in 2020, he said. Which I've always thought that you were never going to get 2020 turnout. There was a possibility, maybe, you could maybe match it in a best case scenario. But these people that thought that turnout was going to be higher than 2020, is it still possible? I guess. But right now, it seems like turnout's going to be slightly lower. Now, do I think it's going to crash and burn as much as this poll claims? No. Because this election is still, both sides see it as must win. That's why I still think you're going to have, relatively speaking, high turnout. By party, the current poll shows 70% of self-identified Republicans saying they have high interest in the upcoming election, versus 65% of Democrats who say this. And this is what I was saying. Right now, according to this poll, Republicans are more interested in the election than Democrats. That's a huge problem for Biden. Because if Republicans just flat out outvote Democrats, he's screwed. Independents are at 48%, while only 36% of voters ages 18 to 34 rate themselves as highly interested in the election. They just aren't low interest, McInturff said of young voters. They are off the charts low. And he ain't wrong. I mean, think about that. Young voters, only 36% of them have a high interest in this election. Granted, young voters turn out less. You could argue that, well, of course it's going to be lower because it's young voters. But at the same time, that's only 36% that say they are highly interested in the upcoming election. I don't care if that's because young voters don't turn out as much. That is still pathetic. And even the pollster said that's bad. The poll also finds Trump nearly ahead of Biden by 2 points. Among registered voters in a head-to-head matchup, 46% to 44%, down from Trump's 5-point advantage in January, 47% to 42%. But like I said, all that changed was Biden went up 2 points. Well, Trump, he did go down 1 point, but you could say that's statistical noise. You know, he's still at 47%, whatever. Trump's biggest advantages are among men, 53 to 37%, white voters, 54% to 37%, and white voters without college degrees, 65% to 25%. Biden's top advantages are among black voters, 71% to 13%, women, 50 to 39%, and Latinos, 49 to 39%. Man, that is bad. I mean, he's only getting 71% of the black vote and only 49% of the Hispanic vote. Granted, I'm not saying he gets only 49%. There will be some undecideds that break his way. But you are crazy to assume that every single Hispanic voter, hell, even every single black voter, are going to swing towards Biden. Yeah, he's going to win the majority of them. I assume so. But even then, Trump is getting record numbers with both of these groups. The poll also shows the candidates are essentially tied among independents. Biden 36%, Trump 34%. And voters ages 18 to 34. Biden 44%, Trump 43%. Again, that young number is bad. Only 44% for Biden? Again, the same thing with the Hispanic vote. These undecideds, more than likely, at least in a head-to-head matchup, are going to break for Biden. But even then, Trump is getting big numbers with these voters that usually Republicans don't get. One of the big polling mysteries this cycle is whether young voters have defected from Biden, as the NBC News poll has shown over multiple surveys, or whether Democrats have maintained their advantage among this demographic. Yeah, I still think Democrats are going to win this group, obviously. If you think that Trump's going to somehow win this voter block, I don't know. You know, you can make an argument that, well, if you include independents, maybe it could occur. But even then, I just highly doubt it. But point is, even if Trump doesn't win the young vote, I highly doubt it. Based on exit polls back in 2020, he is doing way better with them. I mean, back in 2020, with 18 to 29-year-olds, which again, this poll includes up to 34, but either way, Trump only got 36% of the vote with that voter block. Right now, he's at 43%. Yes, you can include the 30 to 34 voters, but even then, it would be like still, you know, Trump at like 38%, even if you included those voters. That's the problem for Biden. Even if he wins every single undecided that's a young voter, Trump is still doing way better than 2020 with these voters. That's his problem in this poll. No matter what you say about it, virtually every voter block Trump is receiving, at least Democrat voter blocks, he is receiving a higher vote share than he did back in 2020. Either way, we just got to see what happens. I am still surprised that when you have RFK on the ballot, Jill Stein and Cornel West, Trump actually does a bit worse than the head-to-head. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below. Subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.